Well, hello, and welcome back to another podcast episode with Brittney Bundles. You are listening to the Brittney Bundles podcast, where we empower people through entrepreneurship. And today I'd like to start off by saying that I hope everyone has a tremendous day. And not just a tremendous day, but I hope everything that you have anticipated for your holiday this year actually comes to pass, actually comes into reality for you. I know during the holiday seasons, there's a lot of mixed feelings depending on what you're going through. There are some people that are ecstatic. There are some people that are grieving, some people that are going through depression. And so no matter what you're dealing with this year, just know that you all are in my prayers, and that I'm hoping that everything turns out for the best in your lives, not just for this holiday season, but for many years to come. And just wanted to say that, I'm not forgetting about anyone. I understand that today can be a very, very joyous day for some, but I know for others it may not be. And so I just want to keep everyone in my mind and in my prayer. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart that I hope everyone truly has a loving holiday season this year. So what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about what I'm thankful for. And I was thinking, what should I talk about today? What do I want to bring up? I don't really want to take too much of your time, but I still wanted to come on this podcast with a message. But I want to talk about allowing what I'm thankful for to fuel my ambition. So often, especially in business, we hear people ask the same question as to what is keeping us going. Why are you motivated? How are you motivated? Why are you ambitious? Everything in your life can be going astray, but for some reason, there's the ability inside of a lot of us to continue to move forward. Not saying that we're neglecting anything that's going on in our life, not saying that we are just focused on one particular part of our life, but there are some things in our life that we just don't have control over. As many things as we do have control over, as much as we like to focus on what we can control, there's still that variable and that bucket of things that are just completely out of our control. And sometimes it's hard for us to accept that there are things out of our control. We can't control how others act. We can't control what others do, even though what others do and how they act may have an impact on our life. We can't control the circumstances outside of our house. We can't control what's going on with the economy. We can't control a lot of things. And so, like I mentioned, although we like to focus on what we can control, because that is very important to focus on what we can change and work at becoming our best while doing so, it's also very important to acknowledge that we don't have control over everything. And that's the very reason, or one of the very reasons, that we do need God. And again, I don't want to get too religious, but it's very hard to speak from a place of truth without mentioning God. So the first thing that I want to start off by saying with this podcast, and I'm going to jump right into it, is I am thankful that God has the final say. I'm so thankful that God has the final say. I'm so thankful that what I say or what others may say about myself is not final. I'm thankful that God is in control of my life. And although we have free will, I still understand and I still know that if we're submitting our hearts and our lives to God, God has the ability to direct our lives in ways that we couldn't even imagine. And so there are so many people that have come to me and shared their stories about their business and shared their stories about their life journey in general. And it's really intriguing, not just to hear the stories, but it's very intriguing to see the power that God has and to see how, if you are submissive to God, how he can take what you may have thought would be nothing, or what in reality would have been nothing to a lot of us, and turn it into a masterpiece. And so God has the final say. I can remember thinking a few years back and wondering, how am I going to be able to raise my children? How am I going to be able to be active in my children's life as much as I want to, having to do all of this, having all of this on my plate? And if you've been following me for a while on my YouTube channel at Brittney Bundles, I've talked a lot about my journey, my business journey with the salon, and my business journey, even into coming into an entrepreneur and working different jobs. And I felt like my schedule, not even felt, but in all actuality, my schedule was so jam-packed with things that were not fulfilling to me that I felt like I was doing a disservice to myself and the ones that I loved around me. And so God has the final say. Every day that I wake up and I'm blessed enough to be around my children, every day that I wake up and I'm blessed to have an operating vehicle, every day that I wake up and I'm blessed to be able to do what it is my heart desires and be able to get paid for it is a blessing. And so all the thoughts and all the things that I told myself I couldn't do, whether it was subconsciously or not, whether it was directly or indirectly, whether I allowed others to tell me lies that I believed or not, whatever the case may be, whatever your story is, whatever you can relate to. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to a position in our life where we believed lies about ourselves, whether the lies, like I said, were from us or from others, but we believe lies. And I'm so grateful that God has the final say, and that what God says is true, be true. What God says can happen will happen. And so I'm not looking for anyone's validation, and I'm no longer looking for ways to make others happy. Of course I want others to be happy, but I'm no longer going out of my way to be something or someone that I'm not, only for the gratification of others. I'm actually fulfilled in doing what it is God put inside of me, and making sure that I'm seeking God each and every day. Now, does that mean that I'm perfect? It absolutely does not. And I say that with no shame at all. So I'm so thankful that God has the final say in our lives. The next thing that I'm thankful for is I'm thankful that we went for it. For those of you that decided to go for what it is you really wanted to do, for those of you that decided to go against the odds, for those of you that decided to go against the status quo, and the status quo for whatever your life or whatever the society has inflicted into you or into your thought process to make you feel like you had to do, even though you really didn't need to do certain things, whatever it is that you overcame. I'm so thankful that we went for it. I'm so thankful that we didn't settle. I'm so thankful that we didn't decide to stay put in the same circumstances. Now, if you are someone and you're listening to this and you're saying, you know what, Brittney, I really wish I can relate, but there was a lot of things I passed up, and no, I did not try my hardest this year. And no, I did not put my heart into my business. We want to think about what you did do. What did you decide to go for? Even me, I didn't go for every single opportunity that was laid before me. There are some opportunities that I didn't even see that God willing will reveal to me in due time. But not everyone goes for every single opportunity. Again, we're not perfect. There are going to be some opportunities that we missed. But what did you go for this year? What did you do? What did you overcome? And also, what can we do to be better next year? What can we do to strive to be better tomorrow? But I'm so thankful that we went for it. Me personally speaking, I'm thankful that I didn't allow any of my negative thoughts. I didn't allow any of the negative circumstances or situations that I went through to stop me from moving forward. I'm so thankful that I was able to get up another day. I'm so thankful that I'm able to speak on this podcast. I'm so thankful that I'm able to give thanks. So I'm thankful that I went for it. I'm thankful that I was not too comfortable in my everyday life routine, that I settled for what I thought was the best. I'm so thankful that I didn't settle for certain relationships. I'm so thankful that I went forward with my life and with my goals, not knowing what the outcome would be, but trusting God and having faith that it would be greater than where I'm currently at. So I'm so thankful that I went for it. The next thing that I'm thankful for is I'm thankful for the people that I've met along the way and the people that I'll meet in the future. I think so often we forget about who it is that actually allowed us to be in the position we're in now. Whether you're in a position where your business is funding your lifestyle completely or not, whether you're in a position where you're working full time on your business or not, I'm so thankful that we have support. I think so often as entrepreneurs, we don't look at all the support that we necessarily have. We tend to focus on what we don't have. And that's something that I'm training my mind on each and every day. I've definitely felt that the times where I didn't have support and I felt like I should have had more support. Not even just felt, in all reality, I probably should have had more support than I received at certain times. But regardless of that, I'm still thankful for the support that I did have. And support, like we've talked about in other podcasts, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm referring to someone buying from me or someone shopping with one of my businesses or products or services. It doesn't necessarily mean that someone watched my video. It doesn't necessarily mean that someone listened to this podcast. But I'm thankful for the people that I've met along the way. I'm thankful for the lessons that I've learned while listening to others' stories, while listening to others' advice. There are so many gifts that we look over. I know that I looked over in life that are valuable and that don't cost anything. For someone to share their experience with you, for someone to share their insight with you, for someone to give you recommendations, whether you decide to take them or not, a lot of times it's a gift. It's a gift for someone to set aside time to talk to you and empower you. And oftentimes they're getting nothing in return at that moment. So I'm thankful for the people that I've met that have supported me. Buying things from me, not buying things from me, sharing their stories, encouraging me, uplifting me, empowering me, helping me. I'm thankful. I'm also thankful for the people, like I mentioned, that I've met along the way and the people that I'm going to meet in the future. I'm thankful for all the relationships that God has placed me in. I remember there was a time that I used to talk to my grandmother. I was actually crying to my grandmother in middle school or high school. And I was saying, wow, I wish that I could meet more people that were like me. And I wish that I could meet more people that had a heart like I did. And my grandmother would console me and she would comfort me. And the older I got and the more that I started to want the relationship with God, and the more that I decided to grow into myself, I realized that there was more people out there than I even thought. You know, sometimes we get so wrapped up in our little worlds and our day-to-day routines that we forget that there's a whole world out there with many, many, many people that are similar to you. And even if they're not similar to you exactly, because of course we're all created unique, but have a similar vision as you, have a similar heart as you, and are constantly striving to become better. I realize that if you second guess yourself, and if you're wondering, you know, are there any good people left in the world? That's your sign to possibly change up your circle, to possibly change the people that you're constantly around. And so I'm thankful that this business has allowed me to meet other people and to experience, in a way, different walks of life, and to be able to relate to more people than what I thought I could relate to be able to grow solid relationships with complete strangers, people that I just met. And I'm finding a bond and a connection, like I said, with complete strangers. And it's strange at first. You're like, wait a minute, is it me or should I be feeling this way already? But I thank God for that. I thank God that I was able to get outside of my shell. I thank God that I was able to build up the confidence to go after what it is he put inside of me. I thank God for not leaving me, and I thank God for leading me into different relationships and different connections. Now, the next thing that I'm thankful for is time and opportunity. I'm thankful for time and opportunity. I know that today is a blessing. All time matters. If you're still here, there's still time and opportunity. I know sometimes we like to beat up on ourselves about what we don't have, what we did lose, why this didn't happen. What if I went back in time, and if I did this, would it be different? And we're not focused on the opportunity and the time that we have ahead of us. Tomorrow isn't promised to anyone, but I know that while I'm here today, I'm going to take advantage of the time and opportunity that God has blessed me with. And I'm thankful that God has allowed us all, everyone listening to this podcast, to have more time and opportunity to fulfill his plan for our life and to impact others along the way. I'm so thankful for the opportunity that we have to become our best selves. I'm so thankful for the opportunity that we have to get our businesses up and running. And when I talk about businesses, I'm not just talking about businesses in a way of making more money. Of course, generating income and revenue is an important part in building generational wealth. I completely understand that. Being in the banking industry for years, I completely understand the importance of being financially stable. And I talk about that frequently on my YouTube and on my podcast. However, I also understand the importance that a business has to your overall self-esteem. I also understand the importance that a business has on your relationship building skills. I also understand the importance that a business has with you being able to fulfill what's inside of you and bring out your creative skills and gifts that God has blessed you with. So I understand that a business is more than a way to generate income. And I'm so thankful for that opportunity. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be our best doing what God created us to do and being paid for it. Now, the last thing that I'm going to say, I told you I'm not going to keep you too long today. I wanted to jump right into it, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my customers, clients, listeners, and ultimately support, like I mentioned. I'm thankful for the support. I'm thankful for everyone that has decided to not only support me, but to support themselves, to support their friends, to support their family, to support dreams. I'm so thankful for that. It's important to support dreams. Sometimes we wake up literally, and sometimes we wake up mentally, and we look back and we look around our lives and we sometimes ask ourselves questions, where could I have been if my dream was nurtured a lot sooner than it was nurtured? Whether it's you that nurtured your dream or someone else. And this is not to put blame on anyone, but this is to show the impact of how much your life could be impacted by someone supporting your dreams. I make sure, I have 3 children, I make sure that I'm supporting their dreams, whatever it is they want to do. And it changes very frequently, but I'm making sure that I'm supporting it. Recently, I made my son an Instagram page, and I'm going to have to see how I can filter out some of the Instagram pictures that pop up or the recommendations on the feed. I don't know if there's a way to do that and change the age or what. I don't know. So I took them off for a moment because I'm like, wait a minute. But nevertheless, I always want to support my children. I always want to make sure that they know that they can do whatever it is they want to do. And so I'm appreciative and I'm thankful to God that He bestowed in my heart a heart of support for not only myself, but for others, for my children, for my family, for my friends. I want to make sure that I'm supporting everyone that I possibly can. I thank my customers. I thank my clients. I thank the people that are listening to this podcast. So you out there, I'm thanking you. I thank you for every day that you tune into this podcast, because it is a form of support. And it is a form of coming together in community. And it is a form of relationship building. A lot of you have reached out to me via email. Some of you have reached out to me via DM. Some of you have left comments under my videos and under my posts, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So often we talk about what we want and what didn't happen and what could have happened, and although those conversations definitely can be necessary, there's a time and a place for everything, but today especially I want to talk about what I am thankful for. I am thankful, like I mentioned, that God has the final say. I'm thankful that we decided to go for it. I'm thankful for the people that I've met along my way and the people that I am going to meet in the future. I'm thankful for the time and opportunity that we have, and I'm thankful for support, customers, clients, listeners, etc. Thank you all. I hope you all have a great holiday season, and I will talk to you all in the next podcast episode.